Hey guys, how are you doing this morning on this Monday, the 20th of April? I cannot believe it's already there. Just a couple thoughts just before we get into what I want to talk about today. But just last night on 60 Minutes, watching those first responders in New York City and the army people that are involved, the service people that are just helping with take care of things, the people are producing food, and just thinking about just the people that are stepping up around the world and certainly the United States that we see up close, that people want to help. They want to be there for other people. And one of the things that we get to see in tragedy or difficult times like this is the hearts of people. And I think we're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing people turn to Christ. We're seeing people that love God give out to other people, and we're seeing so many good things happen, and that's exciting to me. It really is. So we have been talking the last week about the 7 Secrets to an Awesome Marriage book, and let's get that one. And just we talked about stopping the insanity. We talked about starting pursuing God together. We talked about connecting, the art of listening and being patient. We talked about engage, how to fight right. We talked about balance, scouting for a better marriage. And last Friday, we talked about mingle, the mingling of souls. And today, I just want to talk a minute about fight, and not fighting against each other, but fighting with each other, fighting together on the same team for your marriage. So why would we fight for our marriage? Well, I think there's probably as many reasons as there are couples, but what I see in our marriage is if we don't fight for our marriage, there's a lot of things fighting against our marriage. There's a lot of distractions. There's the enemy. There's all kinds of things that fight against marriage, and certainly do in our cultures around the world, and certainly in the United States, that fight against marriage. So the idea is, how do we fight for our marriage? How do we do things each day, and the other 6 steps that we talked about that contribute to fighting for your marriage and building something very valuable, and something that you cherish, something that you wouldn't change for anything. Now, what gets in the way of it? I'm just going to talk about one thing, and that's the one that affects me more than anything. That's selfishness. I get selfish. And so there's times that I know I need to do this for Nancy, or need to say this or not say that, and I don't. My selfishness gets in the way. It's something I'm working on. God's changing me in that. I've come a long way from where I was, but something I think I've got to fight. And I think most of us have to fight our own selfishness in just in life, in marriage, all those kind of things. One of the things that what I do when I teach that I think really might help on this, let me get it up here, is this idea here that usually we have a problem, and in that problem, one of us on one side, I'm here, Nancy's here, we're both on other sides of the problem. Let's look at this as it develops. And so what happens here is that I want to solve the problem my way. Whoops, that's just not what I wanted to show. Okay, let's start that over again. How about this? This is what usually happens in that. Usually what happens is I want to solve the problem my way. Nancy wants to solve it her way. And the problem is in the middle. And the problem causes the issue because we're not on the same team there. But what we call is the pivot. What if instead of standing face to face fighting, you came alongside and you're on one side, your spouse is on the other side, and the problem is in front of you? Then you can decide, how does the problem need to be solved? And so all of a sudden you're taking a different approach. You're a team solving the problem. You're not trying to solve it your way or the other person's way. You're trying to solve it the way it needs to be solved. That makes such a difference when you get that concept. It's called the pivot. Just remember that in your mind. Instead of fighting it here, you just pivot. You stand side by side. You put the problem out here, and you fight that problem together. We talk a lot about the resources we have on awesomemarriage.com. I wanted to kind of show you just a little bit about what goes on when you go there. If I can find it, there we go. So you go to awesomemarriage.com, and then you can kind of look around. You can access all of our podcasts here, the Awesome Marriage Podcast, the One Thing Podcast, the Better Man Podcast. We have so many sponsors now. If you want to sponsor one of our podcasts, we'd love for you to do that. All the resources that we have here, the marriage resources. And so you go here and you see all these resources that you can get to make your marriage better, including our dates at home, our date design boxes. Uh, we have 10 things to do before you get a divorce. That free download has been amazing. How many people have downloaded that? I think we're over 5,000 now. And how many good things we're hearing from people about the results of that. Our blog, our ebooks, all those kind of premarital counseling, all these things that we have. Get involved. It talks about our events. It talks how to be a marriage changer, where you partner with us each month. And then it talks about, and then we have here the things in Spanish that we have available, how to contact us, how to book an event with us, and certainly how to donate with us. So those are the things of what happens when you go to awesomemarriage.com. The other things, if you have questions or would like me to answer something, email Dr. Kim at awesomemarriage.com. I'd love to talk to you. Make this a good day wherever you are, whatever you're going through. Things will get better. We know that. They always do. We have a God who loves us incredibly, who always has a plan for our lives. We see him working each day now in the miracle stories that we're hearing. So stay safe, social distance, be grateful, and be generous. And I'll see you tomorrow.